Are we ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
We're ready.
We're ready.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday, October 6th. It's DVTV in Space. We got David Taffet here, who's on Dallas. Pardon me, I just washed my mouth.
I write for Dallas Voice.
Cannot do a thing
She
with
knows
it.
this paper because she edits it
They work together. How long have y'all worked together?
since 1989.
Editing does not require my mouth work. So all I have to do is yell every once in a while, and we're good.
No, that's
So,
the
hey,
intercom
everybody,
system.
welcome to DVTV in Space for Friday, October the 6th, 2017. David Taffet is a senior news writer for Dallas Voice, and then we have Brandy Amara-Sky, who's one of our contributing columnists.
Yes.
Each week on
Junior
online.
columnist.
A junior columnist? Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'm like, I didn't even know I'm a journalist. People are like, you're a journalist. I'm like, no, I'm a writer. They're like, no, but you're really a journalist. I'm like, no, but I'm really a writer.
See, I told y'all, remind me to hit go, and y'all did not.
Hit go.
We're going now.
We're
that's
minus
off.
Israel today,
Our-
so we're
Our
not too sure how it works.
timekeeper, and we're just going to break that thing because it's probably not going to work right.
It's going up instead of down.
See,
Yeah.
I told you. It's not
Israel,
gonna
we
work.
miss you.
We do miss you, Israel. Be safe driving. Israel is on his way to West Texas. He's going to
Israel's on assignment.
in West Texas. He's covering Amma's birthday party. in West
75th
Texas.
birthday party.
75th party.
Israel's 75th birthday.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. He's one of those with the picture in the attic.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, welcome to DVTV. We're got a lot of things we're gonna talk about today if we ever get around to it. We can start out talking about what's in the paper, what's on the calendar for this week, and one of the main things on the calendar is on the cover. You can see it here and on the screen behind us there. The Tarrant County Pride Week Parade. That is Saturday, and I want to make sure everybody knows that it starts an hour early this year. Usually the parade would start at noon, and it has come down Main Street, and it has come down Houston Street in the past. This year the parade starts at 11 o'clock, and it will come from Weatherford Street, I think.
Yeah, it's starting basically at the same place it always starts. It's just coming
going
down
over.
Commerce Street.
It's going to come south on Commerce Street to
And
the Water Gardens.
the reason is because Commerce Street goes around the convention center, and the Water Gardens are right in front of the convention, or behind the convention center. But the parade goes around the convention center to the Water Gardens for the festival.
And that's where the festival's set
Yeah,
up this year.
yeah.
In the past, it's been set up in front of the convention center,
yeah.
but they've changed it, and because
Because
you
it's
know
getting bigger.
it is getting bigger. They
Yay.
ran out of space,
Yeah.
and used to come right down the middle of town, down Main Street. But of
Mhm.
course, then they put in Sundance Square there and interrupted the flow. They don't let you drive floats through the
Through a park.
fountains.
Right.
It's a beautiful downtown square. So,
yeah.
but on Commerce Street, and I got a message. I got an email to let me know to watch for the message of support on the side of the Bass Hall. The parade will be going down Commerce Street beside Bass Hall, and they sent us a message to make sure that we know that they.
To take some pictures.
Take some
Oh.
pictures, but make sure that people know that they're there and they're supporting us. So that's pretty
awesome.
Yeah.
cool. And
You know what I like about the Tarrant County Parade is not as opposed to the Dallas Parade. The Dallas Parade's big and professional. 30 floats that were professionally built, and those float builders are contributing like 3 or 4 floats to this
Yeah.
parade.
Lone Star Floats.
Lone
in
Star
Dallas.
Floats, who does the floats for a lot of different parades. This one is just fun. You can walk in the street. You can,
Yeah, they're not barricades and stuff.
There aren't
Really?
barricades.
Yeah.
There are a lot fewer viewers for the parade, but it's really a community parade, so it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It
is.
People are out there just having fun. There are police along the way. They're certainly worried about security.
Absolutely. And the police in the parade, there's always a large contingency from Fort
I
Worth
love that.
police.
Like, I
marching.
love always saying that.
Fort Worth and Arlington
That's
police,
true.
though.
Because this is Tarrant County. It's not just Fort Worth
Yeah,
Pride. It's
yeah,
Tarrant County.
yeah. So, but this is just, people have said, oh, we really should have more of a community parade. It shouldn't be so corporate. If that's what you're looking for in a parade, go to Tarrant County's parade Saturday. That's what you're looking
Yeah.
for. It's a fun parade.
It is fun because part of the fun of the Dallas parade for a lot of people is the size of the crowd, and there's
Yeah.
just so much energy packed into that space. And Fort Worth, the route I think might be a little bit longer.
Mhm.
And the crowd is not as large, and it's more spread out. So, I mean, it's
The
just
route
a
is
different
longer,
feeling.
especially this year with it going around the convention center and all
It's
the
a
way.
little bit different
Yeah.
feeling, but it's a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed it. And on Sunday,
You know what? It just has kind of a small town feel to it.
it does. It really
in
does.
the middle of a big city.
I've never been, but
You
I
should go.
definitely
It's
need to
really
check
a lot
this
of
out.
fun.
It really
Yeah.
is fun.
And you like David said, after the parade on Saturday, or at the end of the parade on Saturday, they will have the festival and booths and vendors, and there'll be music, live music.
Food and beer.
I believe so. Yes.
Woohoo.
But then on Sunday, Fort Worth Tarrant County Gay Pride Week Association will host the annual picnic in the park, and that's been going on. I think this is like one of the oldest pride parades,
It's
right?
the second oldest Pride parade in Texas. It's a year older than the Dallas parade.
Really?
So this
Yeah.
is the 30,
Yeah.
35th. Dallas just had their 34th. So this is the 35th annual
36th.
Tarrant.
So
Well,
it's 2 years older then.
it's 36?
Uh-huh.
Okay. He can't count. 36th annual Tarrant County Gay Pride Week
Well, I don't do my
parade.
numbers in order necessarily, but this is the 36th.
Okay. It's 36.
Next year might only be the 35th, but
But I believe that the picnics came before.
mhm.
That's how they started celebrating Pride, was with the picnic. And it's
again,
huge.
fun
They take over
picnic,
Trinity
big.
Park.
Do you know how the festival kind of was in Dallas, Brandy? We walked through it and got
we
lots
walked
of
through it, and
video.
it's lots of good video. Yeah,
Yeah.
in case you want to see a really good video from the Pride Parade Festival here in Dallas, make sure you check out our video stills at dallasvoice.com.
That's true.
Not my fault. I never used that camera before.
That's
Nobody
true, and it
told
was
me that
last
this video
minute.
camera takes stills.
It was last minute.
2
They used to
hours
have
worth
And
of
I
work.
was on fire. I was literally on fire. I was interviewing left and right, and there's some damn
Flaming
good pictures
queens.
of me.
2 hours worth of work. You were doing great interviews, and it's all there in about 20 stills.
In about 20 stills.
The picnic. Back to
Back
what
to the
I was
picnic.
talking
Yes, back-
about. But
It's
not
kinda
y'all.
like- kinda like
Something
that.
other than the two of
always
you.
about us.
Without all the
Oh, these
Yeah.
queens.
Yeah.
The picnic started out, you got free beer and free food. But it has grown to the point where they cannot afford to give free beer and free food anymore.
yeah.
But it's very, I think the food is probably still free maybe, and the beer you have to pay for.
Okay.
But it's always a lot of fun.
It is. It is. I love that parade.
And besides the cover, I just want to point this out because I love Carol West and Celebration Community Church. And this is a picture of the Celebration Community Church. I'm going to point behind me. Right there. Right there. Shannon's over there. Yes, you're pointing at it, idiot. That's Carol
pointing-
West and
That looks
Celebration
more-
Community
that
Church.
looks more like a balloon right there that you were pointing to.
Celebration Community Church in the 2015.
I like that their car
2015
license plate says
2015.
Pride as
It
well.
didn't
That-
really. We changed that because we didn't want to put their license plate on the cover.
Oh, smart.
Photoshop.
It's Photoshop.
Oh,
Well, I like
awesome.
it. I think it's.
I-
I think
yeah.
it's a cool choice to
So
do
it's
Yes.
a fake cover.
Yes.
Fake news.
Fake news.
that. Dallas Voice is fake news.
Yes. So, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. Parade Sunday or Saturday in Fort Worth. Picnic Sunday in Fort Worth.
And then
the
this
State
weekend is
Fair of Texas is open.
Yeah, and this weekend is Dallas
State Fair.
Southern Pride. And
Yes,
I went
Dallas
to-
Southern Pride continues this
Yeah,
week.
Jasper's show last night, the Miss Wanda show, and that was super fun. It was the first time that I got to see Miss Wanda perform and see the show.
Oh,
So,
yeah?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, especially after writing that article. It was
And
cool
seeing
just to
the history, yeah.
to see the history and kind of be in the energy. And also, I just wanted to point out too that October 11th is National Coming Out Day, and that's really, I think, a big deal for a lot of us. And
Unofficial gay day at the fair.
oh, is that
Unofficial. They don't
'cause
have
the
official
fair does not have official
days at the
days
fair.
anymore.
Official
Oh.
theme days. But
They,
yeah.
they
like
did
that
away
too.
with special days at the fair the second time we tried to do gay day at the fair.
Was it? I thought it was like third or fourth.
Maybe
I
it was
thought
the
we got
third.
2 or 3 in there.
Maybe we did. But yeah, they did away with all days rather than just say
No gays.
to us
To no-
loudmouth gays.
they're like no special days because
no
they didn't want
special
to
days
just say
for
no
anybody.
to gays.
They,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. So they're not just singling out, us LGBT.
Well, people were there were certain elements of the community. There's always certain elements who were complaining about all the homosexuals at the fair.
Mm-hmm.
How dare they?
How dare they hold hands?
I know. How dare
Enjoy.
the state fair acknowledge
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, you know what? No special days.
Do you know, the first gay day at the fair was one of the first National Coming Out Days also.
It was.
So HRC was down here, and Chaz Bono, who was Chastity at the time, she and I rode the roller coaster together with that old wooden roller coaster. We had a ball. We just had a ball running around.
They used to do National Coming Out Day initially, in one of the first celebrations here in Dallas or North Texas, was for National Coming Out Day. All the activists got together and people paid something like $25 a signature, and they got all these people to sign this declaration, this statement about being open LGBT people and proud of who we are and all this stuff. And we had this. It was a full size in the Dallas Morning News, full page deal. And we got all the money together, and they bought it. And then at the last minute, the paper's like, no.
We can't do this because we need everybody's driver's license to prove that it's who you say you are.
Yes. So,
really?
So it didn't work out. And then looked like the second year we tried it.
Sued the paper in order to say, show us another group that you make on a signature ad, make them show the driver's license numbers.
Yeah,
they couldn't, so it was in for a few years after that.
Yeah. Wow. And then we had, we'd have Elizabeth Birch, when she first took over as HRC president, was here right after she left Apple.
That was the same day.
That was at the church.
Well, and that was the same weekend that Chastity was here.
Yeah.
And
we used to always have whichever Saturday or Sunday was closest to National Coming Out Day was Gay Day at the fair. We'd go out there. Kate Bornstein, gender outlaw.
Yes, I love.
She was a
Kate
speaker
Bornstein.
here one year.
Yes, love.
So it's interesting to me to think that National Coming Out Day. God, time flies. National Coming Out Day is not as important to so many people as it used to be.
Yeah.
Back in the early 90s, that was a huge deal.
Did you see Will and Grace last night? Because it was about Will picked
She hates Will and Grace.
I don't hate Will and Grace. I've never seen an episode,
and
I don't want to watch an episode. Somebody's about to be like, they're like, take her gay card, get her off the Dallas Boys show.
My point was, Will was going out with a 23-year-old, and the 23-year-old was. It was, how does he celebrate coming? Oh yeah, I told my mother, told my father. They threw me a party.
They were divorced. They each threw me a party on the same day, and it was sad because they had 2 parties for him coming out when he was 11.
Will just couldn't understand that.
Yeah,
that was more my experience. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, you're one of those liberal folks from up north. So, okay, we're at the end of our first 12-minute segment, and we barely talked about anything at all.
Except I hate Will and Grace.
Except that she hates Will and Grace. We're going to take a break for a couple of minutes or however long it takes, and we'll be back. And don't go anywhere.
Yeah.
I'll come back now. And we're back. Wanted to mention a couple more things on the agenda for this coming week. As Brandy mentioned, Dallas Southern Pride Black Pride Weekend continues. There's a pool party on Saturday. There's the 24 karat ball on Sunday at the Dude Ranch. So there's a lot of things going on. A lot of fun stuff going on, including the barbecue on Sunday. So y'all check that out.
I was going to say their picnic usually draws thousands.
Mm-hmm.
It's at Bachman Lake again?
No, I think it's at Tennyson Park this time.
Oh, okay.
It's usually at Bachman Lake, but Facebook said Tennyson Park.
Okay.
But also, there's on Saturday, and I don't know that this is I don't think it's part of Black Pride Weekend, but it is happening here. There's a national sorority, the Beta Phi Omega sorority, which is basically a sorority for feminine lesbians, and the Omicron Psi Omega, which is more for the masculine identifying lesbians. And they're like sister organizations. They're having an interest meeting on Saturday at the
You have to
hotel.
RSVP online. Yeah.
Yeah. Go check it out in the agenda. RSVP. You can get the information for the
super cool.
location. But
I
that
didn't even know
night
existed.
at the hotel, Crown Plaza. That's it. Crown Plaza Hotel. They are sponsoring the Beta Phi Omega is sponsoring the Elite Diamond Ball. So
And then
check that out.
Saturday evening at 6 o'clock, Jeffrey Payne, who's running for governor, he's the owner of the Dallas Eagle. Jeffrey Payne is announcing formally his bid for governor of Texas.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Yes, that's going to be
Yep.
an interesting campaign. There's a lot of things going on.
And
there is.
Do you know what's been interesting about that? The Texas Democratic Party is not really quite sure
What
how
to-
to handle
What
this.
to do? Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the state fair.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
Not finished.
Oh.
On October 14th, October 14th, Texas Latino Pride at Riverfront Park.
I feel like I'm in the middle of
Is
something.
next week.
And, yes, and then on the 13th, which is Monday, right? No,
No.
Monday's not. That's Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
That's not the right one. Oh, crap. Oh, there it is. 9th, which is Monday, right?
She said crap on the air.
Oh, she said it gets a lot worse. The more heated the
DFW Pride
discussions.
fundraising happy hour at Lakewood Brewing Company. They're going to be raising money for disaster relief, Puerto Rico and Mexico, and they're going to be putting together disaster relief packets. So, now then.
I just wanted to go back to the Gays on the Midway story. Usually I have trouble finding a few gay people who are working at the fair, not that there's any shortage of them. This time I wrote to the PR.
They just don't
email
keep a
address,
list. Like
and
gay, straight,
gay.
Not-
But I just wrote to the PR address like you do for any kind of event. I explained what I was looking for, just any gay people doing anything interesting with the fair, and I got a note back like that. Hey, how about me? She said, I'm a lesbian.
Yeah,
so
the PR
she's
person.
the
Oh,
PR
that's
person for the
awesome.
fair right now. So
Yeah.
that was a lot of fun. And then Athena O'Hara, picture of her here. She's walking on stilts, dressed as a scarecrow in the parade.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah, and there's a young man named Vincent DeLuna whose family has had a booth at the fair since 1936. Food, right? Food and beverage place.
But this is what I love about it. I said, so does your family do a couple of the fairs in the area, like Louisiana or Oklahoma? Oh, no. I said, well, what does your family do the rest of the year? Oh, they don't have to work.
They do well enough during the fair
They
that they
do
don't have to
that
do
much during 21 days of the fair that
Wow.
they don't have to do anything else
Well, that
during
sounds
the year.
like a nice
It
little.
does sound-
I know.
You know, so
Why am I
somebody-
writing for y'all?
Oh, no,
Well,
let's
Do you
go
have any
sell corny
openings?
dogs, man.
I know.
Do you know what the waiting list is to get a booth at the fair?
No, I don't.
Oh, it's years.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very popular.
Yeah.
Wow.
One more thing. Celebration Community Church dedicated their new community center last Sunday, the Reverend Carol West Community Center. Carol A. West Community Center.
And you know, the
It
last time
expands
I
their
saw
size.
it, they had just
Mhm.
plowed
Yeah.
the property and had barely laid a foundation.
Me too.
And it's gorgeous what they built. I was at a funeral at that church, and that's all that was there. And now it's ready to open already.
Yeah, it is open. They dedicated. They opened
Yeah,
the last weekend.
So, good for
So
them.
it's very cool. I think they have some other stuff that they're going to be doing, but I love Celebration Community Church. Like I said,
Yeah.
they're on the cover.
Okay, so you
So-
had said fundraiser on Monday for.
Yes, it's
Puerto
DFW
Rican.
Pride Happy Hour.
Right. I
It's
don't
at the
know who
TI.
they're donating it to. I have a couple who are friends of mine who are a couple who live in San Juan right now. They retired. They live on 10th floor of an office building. They described the hurricane as water just pouring in through the windows, through the storm shutters, through the walls.
Did you see today, I think it was today or yesterday, Elon Musk from Tesla said
I
that
didn't read it, but I saw it.
Yeah, that he was interested in, that they could rebuild the power grid in Puerto Rico. And so the mayor said, yeah, let's talk. And I love that she wore that nasty shirt after Donald Trump called her a nasty.
San Juan?
Uh-huh,
Yeah. There's, well, you know. There
I
we
just
go.
want to let you know, see how butch I am? Do you see that? I
That was
did that as
excellent.
soon as I walked in. Like, he threw it at me and I caught it. That's how butch. That's how
We
butch I
are
am.
prepared for hurricane disaster relief right there.
Yes.
Now, with the amount of water that came in, I mean, they were telling me they've had sporadic electricity in their building, even though half the building's destroyed, their half they can sort of live in. They have no other place to live. They could live in the street, and that's the option. They were telling me they finally got rid of the water after 2 weeks of mopping with towels. I'm not sure what this was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right.
What that gesture was all about. Yeah.
I know
Now,
someone that's there that was talking about the food situation. She's a younger woman, probably in her 20s, I guess. And Diana Soto
Yeah.
had posted about what she,
That blog.
what she had written about how horrible it was to see what was going on once they got electricity and she could get internet access off and on. And this week she posted something about it was a picture of her hand holding like a plastic bag like you get from Walmart with some stuff in it, and someone had asked someone that Diana knew if they would get this food from this other person and take this food to this lady who lived over here in this village because she didn't have anything to eat. And Diana was talking about going and taking this food to her, and said the woman was upset, didn't know who it was, and was very hostile until she explained, this person sent me and they said you needed food. I brought you food. She said, thank you. I haven't eaten in 5 days.
Oh.
And it was an older woman with a chronic illness.
Well, Merrill, this friend of mine, she's disabled. They're on the 10th floor of a building. She can't walk down in the dark.
Yeah.
Her husband can, so he's been going out getting some of the things that they need, but it's a walk up because the elevators were completely flooded during the storm.
Wow.
They're basically in a desperate situation. So I asked, who do we donate to? Do you know of an organization that's helping? Now, immediately after Harvey, the Red Cross jumped on it.
Yeah.
There were other local organizations, the local LGBT organization, the Montrose Community Center in Houston. They were taking care of some of the needs of the gay community. There were, churches that were doing all kinds of things in Houston. None of that going on in San Juan. There's no Red Cross. There's no anything
Bemis
anywhere.
there.
I
They
mean,
have
the
paper
answer I got
towels.
from the couple was, I don't know of anybody who's doing anything that you can donate to that will help.
You can go through Centerlink, which
Centerlink.
is the organization for LGBT community centers. They are helping raise money that they will funnel to the community center in Puerto Rico. That's one way that you can help. I know a young woman, or I know her through Facebook. Her name is Ryanne, Ryanne, Moody, Moody. She's on Facebook. She, through her company, which is, I can't even remember the name, but it's a roofing company. They did a lot of relief work in Houston and Southeast Texas when the flooding down there. I mean, they just would load stuff up and go down there, and she'd coordinate these trucks, these huge trucks to come in, and they'd load it up. She's on her way, I think, tomorrow to Puerto Rico to
go.
start
See,
taking
there's
supplies.
a difference. Did you
Yeah.
know Puerto Rico's an island?
Oh, that's
And
true.
it's surrounded by
I better
a
send
lot
her a
of
message
water.
A
tonight.
lot of
She's supposed to
water.
leave tomorrow.
It's
Ocean
right
water.
in the middle
Ocean.
of
Big
the
water.
ocean.
Uh-huh. Did
It's
you
right
know
there.
Ocean
that?
water.
Now, okay, so Trump throwing these at people. according to the Washington Post, they had to explain to him that the next thing they were distributing were cans of chicken, and he could not throw them. He was about to start throwing cans of chicken at people. They physically had to stop this idiot.
Like, I'm really curious about all the people who actually voted for him. Like, what are they thinking now? Like, are they going back and thinking,
He's
"Oh
doing a
my
great
God"?
job. Well,
No,
Some.
you know what, you're right,
Some.
because
'Cause they're
I've seen
watching
it on my
Fox.
I've seen it on my Facebook. They're like, yeah, Trump has supported, and I have to delete them because they're
Yeah.
obviously way too one-sided to be on in my energy scope. But
you know, the last thing you think about when you're doing relief work is, gee, this is costing us a lot of money.
oh yeah,
Now, it's okay to say, this group is doing an awful lot and they need donations. That's not what
Yeah.
I'm talking about. Boy, you know, you owe
You
Wall
wrecked our
Street
budget,
billions
yeah.
of dollars, you wrecked our budget.
just no. I'm just at a loss of
Here
words.
was the other
I know,
thing
I
that
know.
Trump
I
said.
just-
It-
you
at
get
what
numb.
point you do you
On
get
the
numb and
plane,
you're like,
again in the Washington Post article, on the plane on the way back, he was while he was explaining how well he had done and how much he's doing for these people, he actually said, and this is the first time in history that a president has ever done anything like this. And the like this is going to visit people in a hurricane zone. Now, not only did other presidents go visit people in a hurricane zone, he had gone to visit people just 2 weeks earlier in hurricane zones. More than one
Yeah.
hurricane. He had done this before.
They actually touched people when they. I mean,
Yeah.
So there was a discussion.
There were
Well,
hugs. There were actual
Yeah,
connection with
you know,
people, not just throwing.
they were white people.
Just
But
throwing.
they were white people.
you know.
No, they hugged some brown people too.
Did they really?
I'm pretty sure I saw at least Obama did.
Well, Obama
Yeah.
did. I'm talking about Bush.
No.
Not
Oh
Bush.
yeah,
I'm talking
no.
About, I'm
Clinton.
talking
Yeah.
about this one, Trump.
He didn't hug nobody. He
Yeah,
didn't. He
he
threw
didn't touch
shit.
him-
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Sorry, Leo. He threw stuff. Sorry, I had a little phlegm in my throat and it came out
Yeah,
the wrong word.
Yeah.
Um, but he didn't remember what he had done 2 weeks before, which started speculation about what kind of dementia this man has.
Started?
It
I've been talking
started
about
a-
that crap
started
since
a new
last year this
discussion
time.
seriously in respected newspapers around the country about what kind of dementia this man is suffering. What do you mean?
Well,
This is the first time anybody has done anything. It might be the first time a president threw things at people.
That's definitely.
That's-
I think
that
a
maybe
first.
that's what he's
I
talking
think,
about.
Yeah, I definitely think that's the first he was referring to.
well, unless they
'cause-
were playing basketball, I think, But and then we have Las Vegas. Brandy, your column that I posted this morning online, the trending tea. I know,
Yeah,
David.
we're almost out of time. I'm just pointing out.
I
Almost out
know.
of time. Let's introduce it, but after the break, we'll talk about this.
Yes,
a
we're
little
going to
bit.
come back. We're going to talk about Brandy's column a little bit because it has some very interesting points in it about mourning and
Yeah. Grieving.
and about being in mourning. And I know I feel the same way. And we're going to talk about Las Vegas and God only knows what else we might talk about. So y'all come back, and if you're watching out there, send us a message. Tell us what you want to hear about. All right?
Yep.
Come back now. You hear?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're back. And I put on my headphones just in time to hear that final growling noise from Shannon's commercial
A.K.A.
there.
Rufus.
I don't
A.K.A.
wear
Nathan.
headphones because I don't.
Because
He's a rebel.
he's an
with the
ornery
cause.
old man. That's what he is.
If we were ready, we have a caller on line 3.
We have a no line 3. Have a no.
That's why I don't wear headphones.
So anyway, we're back. We're going to
'Cause
talk.
Actually, I can hear them. They're having trouble hearing me, but I can.
I have trouble hearing anything these days. Speaking of old, we're going to talk about Brandy's column. Brandy writes a column each week. We call it Trending Tea. And for those of you who are young people and don't understand, tea means the gossip, the news,
next week's
what's
column
going
will
on.
be about why she hates Will and Grace. But this week,
Apparently, yes. that is the tea for the
She
day.
hates
Yes,
Will and
that's a tea for the.
Hi, Carl. How you doing?
Hi, Carl.
Carl wants to know why.
Why I hate Will and Grace.
What do you want to know, Carl? We're waiting on the message. What do y'all? He's going to remind me about this.
Do y'all
Doing the
too?
break. Oh, what do we do in the breaks? We talk.
We talk.
We cuss.
We
We
cu-
drink whiskey and
Lots
vodka
of. Oh, I don't drink vodka for sure. We play with other people's watches.
and
It's-
magnets.
Yeah, we
Hi,
should
Carl.
do like
Thanks
a
for
whole
watching.
like
Now,
live
I do have to point out
behind the
Brandy
scenes.
did not know how to put the watch on.
because it's
because-
magnetic, people.
Well, but you still
Look.
have to have it so that it faces you right side up, and she
There
had
you
it
go.
completely upside
I
down.
haven't worn a watch since I was like 17, so I don't.
Last week.
Yes, last week, just last week.
We're gonna talk about Las Vegas, and Carl sent in the message there, reminded me of something I want us to talk about. Las Vegas. First of all, let's go back to your column, talking about a time to mourn, and I
Yeah.
think hold on, damn it, there.
A lot of good
There
that
is a
does
ti-
when you
I know.
start the timing halfway into.
A time to mourn. It's a very good column. It's online at dallasvoice.com. It's Trending Tea. Go read it. It makes you think.
And
So-
I think, I was having a really hard time, just to give you like a little bit of background on what prompted me to write that. I was having a really hard time digesting everything that's happened this week between Trump throwing the towels at people like they were in a zoo and he was throwing kibble, to the United Nations wanting to, ban the death penalty for gays and the U.S. voting against it. There was just so much going on.
But
and then
it passed.
Yeah, and then
It did, but we
it
voted
did, but
against
we
it.
still voted against
No,
it.
I'm not making excuses
Yeah.
for us. I'm saying, but at least that one passed.
It's-
They did the right thing.
It's true, but that on top of what happened
Mm-hmm.
in Vegas, on top of all these things, people, it's harder for women to get an abortion than it is for gun control, to control guns, and you just get to
what
a
about
point.
the congressman, the
as-
anti-abortion congressman from Pennsylvania, who encouraged his girlfriend to get an abortion?
Exactly.
The
yeah.
married congressman.
All of this oxymoronic things that are happening with these conservatives who are like, no, 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 and trying to regulate, all these, it just became too much. And I think there comes a point in any activist life that you just kind of also have to take time to grieve and mourn what's going on. And you need to take a moment and just kind of compile yourself before you can go and get back out into the world, in activist world again. Because it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot when you care.
There's so much going on.
There's so much going on.
Every direction.
Yeah, and so that was kind of the impetus. That was the point of that. I just needed a break, and I was like, this is so consuming. And I tied it back to what happened in 2005 when my then partner, got involuntarily recalled into George Bush's Operation Iraqi Freedom, and kind of how that feels. This, like, what's happening today, like people getting ripped out from
Yeah.
the
What is-
sphere.
We have to take care of ourselves, and taking a minute to acknowledge
Yeah.
that overwhelming everything at once is very important. But one of the things, and we've been talking about this since doing a story on this since last year, when at the Pulse shooting. I mean, and it started, this everything happening. It started then or
Mhm.
before then. There was so much going on, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of gun control and gun ownership. And what do you think about? Tell me what you think. Do you think there should be no guns? How do you think we should control guns? I mean, some guy goes into a hotel in Vegas with how many weapons did he have in there?
23 or
27,
something.
yeah.
Some ungodly number of high-powered weaponry, and he goes and just, mows people down, and it's the largest, deadliest. It is the deadliest mass shooting by a single person in modern history. We're not counting.
What would I like? No guns. So let's start compromising from there.
No
That's not
guns
going
is
to happen.
unreasonable.
But that's not going to happen.
Right.
It's unreasonable.
It's not going to happen. I'm starting with what would I like? Now, what would the NRA like is no restrictions, no nothing. On every one of our constitutional rights, with rights come responsibilities.
Yes.
When I'm doing my radio show, it's broadcast, it's over the air. There are certain things I can say and certain things I can't say. I take that responsibility seriously. You have to be responsible with your freedom of speech.
Yes.
When we write for the newspaper, there is freedom of the press, but we're responsible in trying to get out a truthful story, an accurate story. With the constitutional right come responsibilities. Are we always right? Do sometimes we get it wrong? Sure, everybody gets it wrong sometimes, but we're not purposely doing that the way Fox purposely gets it wrong. And when I say purposely, I'm talking about as soon as this happened, they came out with this is not the time to talk about it. Well, when's the time to talk about it? When it didn't happen? Let's talk about this thing that happened 6 months ago. No, you talk about it when it happened. Anything else happens, and we talk about it. With the hurricane, let's not talk about hurricane relief. This isn't the time.
Right.
Of course you talk about it. What can we do? And what can we do that's reasonable and responsible? Like I said, I'd love no guns. I love Australia for that reason. They had one massacre. They took everybody's guns. Everybody cooperated with it. And they haven't had anything like this since then. That's not going to happen here.
That they took everybody's guns?
Do you know, I think there are some guns left, like out in the outback, if you're living on a ranch. There are certain reasons
that's Australia.
that some
They've got
people,
some guns.
There are some people who have guns for specific reasons. But I have a right to drive. Why do I have to have a driver's license? Well, same thing with guns. You can have a gun, but maybe you should have a gun license along with it. That should be, I think that's reasonable. I'm not taking your guns. I'm saying that's reasonable. Semi-automatic weapons, turning them into automatic weapons, is that reasonable? No. Do you know the reason that one person gave on the radio that he should be allowed to have semi-automatic weapons? I get such a rush when I go to the gun range. Well, I'm sorry. You get a rush, he gets killed. Let's weigh those two and see.
That's exactly what I wrote. I'm like, so these people's Second Amendment right, to bear arms just negated these 59 people's constitutional right to life and to live.
Yes.
And so, like, I'm with you. I'm like straight up ban guns, but I understand that that's unrealistic, and I do believe that people should have the freedom to choose whatever.
And
but
we're the liberals here.
Yes, the semi-automatic
we're
rifles need to
discuss.
Go. Like that's there's no reason that any person living in a city should be able to carry no. I'm sorry.
Carry a what?
Semi-automatic weapon, like the rifle, like the big things.
Semi-automatic is like any handgun. It's not a revolver.
I don't even know anything about guns. This is how
what
much
you don't
I
want is
like
automatic.
Guns.
Automatic weapons where.
I don't want the things that the army people in the military carry. I don't want that to be civilian. I don't want civilians carrying that. How about that?
I agree with you on that.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I mean, I come from a very rural place. All my family, we all had guns, and they knew how to use them, and they went hunting with them. And if you're out on your farm, you're doing work, you have a rifle in the car in the event that you find yourself in a position where you're confronted with a snake or a wolf or panther, something like those things. Don't look, because that really happens.
And but see, my whole point is people are going into those situations. So the animals are choosing to. I'm also an animal rights activist too, so I don't understand the whole concept. But But the animals are
I'm
there.
sorry.
You're going into their territory, and you're carrying a gun, and you're going to shoot them for being somewhere that they're supposed to be. But then
No.
you're creating.
I'm
the
on my
problem.
ranch. I'm on my farm. I'm taking care of my cows. I'm
No.
taking care of my this. And this big, angry, rabid ass wolf comes running at me. I have the right to defend myself
you have
and
every
my
right, and your
and
cow.
my cattle.
You have yes, you do. You have
and
every
my child that's over here picking up pecans.
right. You have every
So-
right to do that. But what I'm talking about is
They're
like
in my business. Then I ain't up in theirs.
And that wolf should have seen the sign that said, "This is Tammy Nash's
that's what I'm
land."
saying. Like
Well, I am not out there chasing that damn wolf trying to bite it. Am I?
I don't know. You should see her in the office sometimes.
I was gonna
No, that's a
say.
baseball bat. Y'all don't want me carrying baseball bats. Let me have a gun. I'll be responsible with a gun. Y'all don't want me carrying a baseball bat.
So how do you feel about it?
About guns, I think that I think people should have the right to have a gun. I don't think we need automatic weapons. I don't think that at all. I don't think it should be legal to convert a semi-automatic weapon to full automatic. Anything that gives you that ability should not be legal.
Okay, on the floor of the House of Representatives
finished.
just this week was that bill about silencers. And
Exactly. I don't think we. But okay, and this is something that somebody explained to me, and I wasn't thinking, oh, silencers. No, you shouldn't be able to buy silencers. You ain't James Bond. You don't need a damn silencer. But somebody explained to me that's not like you put it on there and it goes poop and you don't hear it. They don't even call them silencers. They're called suppressors. And the idea for these things is that people who are at the gun range. And have you ever shot a gun?
No,
It's actually
I've
kind of
never
cool.
even held one. No, I have no desire.
It's to me, it's kind
Candace
of
has been
cool.
trying to get me to
it's
go to a gun
about
range, but-
there's a skill in it.
I just can't.
It's I understand that, but it's
Yeah.
not about causing.
of course there
inflicting
are,
harm.
and in that
But the
setting-
suppressor isn't like at a. I was not finished. There's there's a suppressor
such a
is
pain
like
in the ass.
on. I know I work. It's like at the gun range. It's to dampen the noise some, so that it's not as.
And it also
damaging
deflects
possibly.
the noise. Now, one of the reasons that so many people were saved was because they saw and heard where it was coming from, or they heard where the noise was coming from, and they were to run. And what this suppressor could do is just confuse
Yeah.
people as far as where the noise was coming from, and more people would have been killed had that been legal.
Hey, I don't think that we need those. I don't really see. I mean, put your headphones on, your ear muffs or whatever you call those things when you go to the range, so you can protect your hearing. I don't think that we need full automatic weapons. I don't think we need silencers, suppressors, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, if I want to own a handgun, I should be able to own a handgun and have that in my house so that I can protect my home, or so that I can take it to the damn gun range and.
Okay, what about this
Target
guy
shoot.
who had 23 semi-automatic rifles?
He obviously had enough money, but I think anybody who's stockpiling 23 automatic rifles for one person, that should raise some damn eyebrows.
Okay, and had there been gun registration of some sort, there would have been, the thing
It's like
about
cold
this guy
medicine.
was, the thing about this guy was there were no triggers, no anything showing that he was in any way a danger to anybody.
There was something.
He was stockpiling guns. Yes,
Yeah.
he's a danger. He's a danger. He's not somebody who's
He's not. These are not collectible weapons. If I were rich and I just had money to spend on whatever I want, I might buy these collectible. Oh, that is a really cool, because it's different. It's an
That's
antique.
different.
It's there's something special about it to collect it. I'm not buying it so I can put it in a hotel room and kill people. It's a display. Look at it. It's pretty.
And we'll be back with more right after this.
Beep.
I'm like, what?
Hey, we're back. We have discovered something very important. Neither David nor I almost called you Candace.
That's okay.
Neither,
It happens.
neither David nor Brandy has ever actually stepped outside the city limits.
I'll try. I go camping a whole lot.
And
Like
you know
I go
something?
camping, and I do like camping, like rough camping, like camping
And
with
Oak
the tent.
Lawn
me.
is the
Yeah.
most rural area I've ever lived in.
Exactly, that's my point. So you don't know from rabbit. Well, you should know from rabbit. You just don't know from rabid wolves. You just Anyway.
Brandy was just saying during the break that the only time she ever held a gun, and it was a toy gun, it was on Santa's lap, and she must have
In
gotten it.
Corpus, it was like I was 5 years
Corpus.
But she
old.
got it from
That
Santa,
explains it,
and Santa
Corpus.
was worried about rabid reindeer who were going to attack Tammy somewhere on her ranch or something like that. I lost
a
track
And
of
so
the
then
story.
Tammy said that apparently we have never been in the country.
Okay, so we got a message. Should there be a limit to the number of guns?
Yeah, guns you should buy.
probably show. I mean, but at the same time, then you have reasons to go. No, like a collector.
Yeah.
And you have guns that don't actually fire, but they're like vintage or they're historic or something. And you're, sorry, you've got 5. That's as many as you can have. Yeah, but I can afford to buy 15 more.
Yeah.
You know, I understand that there's
I
always going to be an
understand that.
argument about one way or another. I don't think everybody needs to have a gun. There are some people that probably shouldn't be allowed outside without bubble wrap. But no, y'all can go outside without bubble wrap. There's some people that don't want to have a gun. I don't care
Yeah,
if you
like,
want to
I
have a
don't-
gun. Don't have one if you
Yeah.
don't want to have a gun.
But that's kind of how I feel. Like, if you don't want one, don't get one. But at the same time, I feel like some of the people that are getting them are taking other people's rights away. And so that's where the issue comes in, is when,
Well, but
the
that's where, when
few-
we're talking about some sensible legislation.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's
How
the-
about
that's the key.
registration? How about background
agree.
checks?
I
How about
We should
not
have-
selling them
I
at
think
gun shows at the
background
convention center
checks.
in Mesquite?
Yeah.
How about selling them through registered, licensed people who
Have a gun
background check?
The people who go
gun
to the gun
stores.
shows, most
Yeah.
of the vendors at a gun show, they're going to be all of those things that you've had, but they can go to a gun show and sell it without the background
Right.
checks that you would have to go through anywhere else.
Like, I don't think that should be legal.
I don't either.
Right.
I don't think that should be
I mean,
legal.
if I went to
If your Uber driver has to go through a background check to take you in
There
the
you
car,
go.
then you should be, guns, to buy a gun, you should be able
And
to.
people say,
I
oh, well,
agree.
you could kill somebody with a car, but that's not the purpose of a car.
yes, and you have to get a license,
get a
and
license,
you have
you
to
have
be registered, and you
and you have to take a class,
class.
or at least learn how to
Pretend
drive
to-
somehow.
Yeah.
Right. I'd have nothing against anybody who's buying a gun has to go through a class.
Think about this.
And you have to pass the class.
Well, and see, you have to supposedly you have to go through a class to carry. You do. I mean, that's part of the license to carry thing. Is you have to go through this class.
So
I've been
ridiculous.
through the class. It's not difficult.
Why do you need?
What?
Like, why would you need to carry your gun openly, into a restaurant? I just can't. I guess
don't-
I
kind of
cannot
agree with you.
wrap my head around what is the.
I don't go to the
fucking
one
point.
supermarket that refuses to put a sign out that we don't have open carry in this store. I
And-
don't go into Kroger.
And you can now
for that
carry
reason.
open carry on campuses. So, like, my dad is a professor at Corpus Christi, and he teaches. He's a psychotherapist, so he teaches people who have come from
Psychotherapy.
Well, no. From chemical, people who had chemical dependencies and now they're going to school. And he, is surrounded by, people who have a past. And now these, people can carry guns on campuses. And it blows my mind that now my father, who is anti-gun, is thinking about getting a gun because other people are allowed to have a gun. And this is that little
Yeah.
that just keeps going. And
Okay,
where does that end?
Here's what people
you're
have said
right.
to me.
Agents in Las Vegas.
Just just because you have a
Or
gun doesn't mean you're
Columbine,
going to
or-
use it.
No,
Have you ever bought anything that you didn't plan to use?
I've bought
Yes.
shoes. I have closets. I have wigs. I have a closet full
Okay.
of things that.
I don't.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
have said to me I should buy a gun, and I say I don't buy things that I don't plan to use.
Well, it's not that you plan to use
Oh,
them or
no, no,
not
no.
to plan. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like,
I-
it's just I gotta have that.
Yeah.
No.
I have clothes like that.
No. If I'm going to
You
buy
are
a gun,
different. You are
if I'm going to buy a gun, I'm
rare
going to
and
use the damn
unusual.
thing.
Well, that's one of the things that they will tell you, and that's one of the things that I've been told since I was a little child. If you're going to take out a gun, if you're going to take out a weapon of any kind, whether it's a gun or a knife or whatever, you can also carry swords.
Yeah. No.
Openly in
Yeah.
this.
You could.
That might
carry
be kind of cool.
swords.
But
I have no
samurai.
Yeah, like a sword is kind
But
of cool.
if you're gonna take it out,
shown.
if you're gonna pull that
Zombie
weapon, you
apocalypse.
damn well be ready to use
Exactly. Exactly.
it. Because somebody will take it away from you and use it on you.
Okay, so I have a question. We only have a few minutes left. What kind of a psychopath hates Will and Grace?
Explain. You explained this last week. He wasn't here. He doesn't pay attention.
I don't hate, to all those watching, to all my LGBTQ, my gay, my rainbow family. I don't hate Will and Grace. I've never seen an episode. I have no desire to watch an episode. I feel like the whole gay male trope and gays as accessories kind of and the fag hag stem from that show. And so I just feel that in addition to like it, yes, it helped our community, but it also did other things to our community as well. And so all these issues now that we're having with bachelorette parties in our gay bars and all these conversations, the root is that show, because straight women thought it was cool to have a gay best friend.
So you hate
That's all I'm
bachelorette
saying.
parties.
Here's the thing.
That I do. Yeah. Now I'm
In the gay bar,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't like bachelor parties in my gay bar. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't.
Well, some of them know how to behave. I'm going to tell you this, and because I've been thinking about this since we talked about it last week, and this, I think there's a generational thing. The fag hags and the bachelorette parties in our bars and gays as accessories all stem from Will and Grace. Girl, please. They've been doing that shit long before.
But that's the first time it was mainstream. That was the first time
the show came from
mainstream. It's like RuPaul's Drag Race. Drag has always been around, but now it's been mainstream because the show, and so that's what I'm talking about.
That's why the whole idea that it's always been there.
Yeah, it's been there.
And they made it mainstream and this, that. But see, that's what, like for me, that's what made it fun. Because it was like, see, and it's a sitcom, okay? So, no, it's not real.
Yeah.
It's, there's so many things that are not realistic about it. But it put things that we had been living with, that I have lived with forever and ever, on TV. That's not, they didn't create a stereotype.
I see
played
that.
off that stereotype.
But that's what I'm saying.
Stereotypes come from reality.
I think it was a detriment, but it was also helpful. Like it's both sides of the same coin.
I think it's a generational thing.
Yeah,
I really
both
do.
sides of the
And the
same
other
coin.
thing about it is that show was never intended for us. We're not the target audience.
Right, yeah, but that's also what I'm saying. So if you're going to have a queer-based TV show,
has to be
then make it
intended because-
about, it should be about us. It's like Queer as Folk. It's about it was about us. Like
This is about
And
us
Queer as
too.
Folk
It's just
I love.
about us
I
at a
love Queer as
different.
Folk. I loved it
from a
better than the
different
L
perspective.
word. Queer as Folk
yeah.
is one of my favorite all-time shows. Yeah.
It's just from a different perspective. It's a sitcom. Those show L word.
Yeah, I know.
Queer
It's
as Folk, those are
all-
not shit. Those are shitcoms.
She's at it again.
Sorry,
It's a
Leo.
Good thing we're not broadcasting.
But
Live or anything.
I
yeah.
see that I could never do it. But I mean, it's a sitcom, and it's supposed to and it makes fun not just of gay people. It makes fun of straight people. It makes fun of because it's
here's
a
what it
sitcom,
did.
and it's funny.
I think without Will and
And
Grace,
Karen is
we
hysterical.
wouldn't have had any of the decisions in the Supreme Court that led to Obergefell.
So you think like allies were created?
Uh-huh.
No,
I do too.
I completely agree.
I don't know.
just
I
choose
can't. I'm not
to
going to
watch
go as
it
far as that, but
because there was nothing representational for me. Like the cast is all white. It's like Friends. It's like okay, it's another group of white friends. Huh.
so.
So
The fact
I
is,
don't
Brandy
hate,
still hates Will and
I
Grace.
don't hate Will and Grace. I've just never seen an episode. So
Karen is hysterical.
I've seen gifs of Karen, and I kind of like her,
Karen
but
is hysterical.
I still won't watch it.
Karen's safe word is Grace.
We're out of time.
Adler.
We need to take a break.
Fine.
We'll be back
Man.
for
Thank
final
God.
wrap up
Bye.
and
We're
some
gonna
more
make
brandy
a break.
bashing.
Make a break. Blah, 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 blah.
There you go.
So we're back. We've got 2 minutes that I didn't put on my timer to.
Brandy thinks that the way you get rid of zombies is by shooting them in the head. She's wrong. It doesn't work.
It's true. When you want to kill a zombie,
David
you have
don't
to.
know
It's,
from
you got to get the
zombies.
brains. Like that's the
Yes, I
whole
know
point.
from
You got to
zombies.
get the brains, people.
The medulla.
Medulla
oblongata.
oblongata.
That's either something how you kill zombies or sing opera, one of those things. But
Yes.
see, David does not know from. I was explaining to them that that's another reason for owning guns.
So for those of you who are curious about what we do on the breaks,
There you
this
go,
is
Carl.
the kind of stuff we talk about: zombies.
And David's inability to understand them.
It's supposed to be a news
Double
show.
tap. He doesn't understand. Double tap.
Zombies are news. What are you
I
talking
was
They gonna
about?
told
be.
this was a news show.
Oh, you have been so sadly mistaken. Whew, Lord. Anyway, we got just a little bit of time to wrap it up. David, talk to us. Tell us about Sunday, Lambda Weekly.
Oh, Sunday I have a guest on Lambda Weekly.
Ta-da!
When and where is Lambda Weekly? How do people?
89.3 KNON FM, the voice of the people, oldest, longest running gay and lesbian radio show on anywhere in the world.
I'm super excited because that's actually my first real radio.
That's very cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
David Taffet, the late Patty Fink, who's not dead but perpetually late, and
LaRon Landis.
LaRon Landis. And this week we have
Our
special
guest
guest.
I
is
know. I'm
Brandy
excited.
Amara Sky.
Tune in.
So do I have real... She was
Go.
supposed to be on about 3-4 weeks ago. I didn't write down my guest. I double booked. I called one person. I said, didn't we plan that you were going to be on one day this month? And she said, yeah, it's this Sunday. So Brandy was fine. We postponed it till this week. The show is on Alzheimer's. So I did what I always do. I just looked at them, asked them a question. They answered it. I looked at them again, asked them the same question.
Yeah. This is going to be a lot of fun, so I'm excited about
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Well,
Yeah.
tell us
Sunday.
a little bit more about Brandy,
Sunday.
who hates Will and
Oh,
Grace.
Sunday,
Today's
sorry.
Friday.
Today's Friday,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday. So you can see my latest article, Trending Tea, the column, at dallasvoice.com. It's number 6, I believe. You
Mm-hmm.
can also see some of my work at bet.com, globalgrind.com, or you can visit my website, brandymarsky.com.
And watch out for the podcasts.
Oh, yeah. I have 2 podcasts. One of them I'm really excited about. It's called the Drag Show Podcast, where we're going to be talking about art and craft of drag.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm excited about that
And
one.
I'm Tammy Nash. I'm the managing editor for Dallas Voice. Just pick up the paper, read me, look online,
And throw some paper towels at your friends.
Yeah.
show your love, people.
Show your
Throw
love.
a paper towel.
Throw a paper towel.
And
paper, too.
make sure that you're well armed when the zombies get here.
Exactly.
So this has
Katanas,
been
bow and
katanas,
arrows,
bows,
just no guns.
guns, double tap. And so this has been DVTV in Space for Friday, October 6th. And we'll see y'all next week. Same time, same channel. Bye y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Be safe.